Ria was a 12th grade high school girl of Pakistani descent who lived in England. Different from girls her age, she loved martial arts and idolized a famous stunt woman in the UK named Eunice Huthert. Ria has an older sister named Lena who just dropped out of the arts major at university. That day, Lena was stressed because her drawing didn't show any progress. She then went outside and walked around while snacking a whole chicken in her hand. Meanwhile, after finishing training martial arts as usual, Ria went home with her bicycle past the market. When she got home, Ria immediately made content for her YouTube channel, but because she had difficulty taking the good angle, she forced Lena to help as a cameraman. Even though she was used to making martial arts content, she still hadn't managed to make her ultimate move. The next day at the school, Ria was greeted by her two friends, Alba and Clara. In their final year, according to the curriculum in the country, every student had to write down their future plans such as their dreams and what activities they would do after graduating. Unfortunately, Ria's dream of being a stunt double was underestimated by the school counselor, Ms. Spence, who advised her to become a doctor instead. Ria included in her report file that she had sent an email to her idol, Eunice, but because there was still no response, Mr. Spence told her to change her plans. In the library, Ria, Alba, and Clara were approached by their classmate, Kovacs. Her position as library supervisor was misused to bully Ria, and she threatened to reduce her points so that the school would give heavier sanctions to her. After that, Kovacs challenged Ria to a duel to prove how great her martial arts skills were, but even though Ria had good skills, Kovacs, whose body was bigger, repeatedly knocked her down. Ria didn't give up and tried to attack her with her ultimate move, but she failed miserably. Right after that, Miss Spence came and told Ria to go to her office. When she got home, Ria met her mother, Fatima, who was getting ready to hang out with her friends. After that, as usual, Ria immediately woke up Lena to help her make YouTube content. While Fatima was hanging out with her friends, they talked about their children. Rahila, one of her friends, talked about her son, a geneticist who was looking for a future wife. Rahila looked very proud of her son while Fatima was confused about what to answer when asked how her two daughters were because Lena had dropped out of campus and Ria was still unclear about her future. Later that day at dinner, Fatima and Rafe, her husband, disagreed with the dream of their two daughters. Rafe suggested Lena work as a receptionist at a clinic since she was still unemployed, but Ria immediately cut off her father's words and encouraged her sister to continue studying to achieve her dream. After that, Fatima said that her friend Rahila invited them to the Eid soiree at her house. Fatima said that she didn't want her daughters to discuss their dreams in front of her friends. When they arrived at Rahila's mansion, Rahila welcomed them warmly. Ria and Lena were taken to the other room where other guests their age gathered. At the center was Salam, Rahila's only son, who was chatting and laughing, surrounded by all the ladies there. His profession as a geneticist and his rich family made all the ladies there interested in him except for Ria, who saw him as nothing but a player. Bored, Ria came out of the room and walked around the house until finally she accidentally entered a room where there were lots of photos of women on the table, and among them was a photo of Lena. She was shocked and immediately left there and saw her sister enjoying a chat with Salam and Rahila. She knew that Lena was one of the many choices of potential wife for Salam, and seeing Salam and Rahila's behavior, Ria didn't want her sister to marry someone like Salam. The next day, Lena prepared to go on a date with Salam. Fatima was very supportive of her, but it was clear that Ria strongly disagreed with her. Ria was so annoyed that she intended to follow them from a distance, but Fatima immediately stopped her. When Lena and Salam had dinner together, Lena told Salam that she had dropped out of campus, but Salam did not mock her at all. Salam also said that he had been feeling depressed lately, and that according to him, it was better to do work that was in line with his passion. Meanwhile, Ria still felt annoyed because her sister had forgotten her dream of becoming a painter. Since that date night, Lena became closer to Salam and they met every day, while Ria became more annoyed because her sister began to forget her dream of becoming a famous artist. Ria also had time to confide in Alba and Clara, who according to them, Lena was just looking for a distraction to entertain herself after dropping out of campus, and later Lena would definitely continue her dream of becoming a painter. Apart from that, Ria was also annoyed because no one was going to help her with YouTube. Ria was so upset that she confided in an email about her sister to her idol Eunice, while also applying for an internship in her studio. Ria's fear became reality when she found Lena's painting, which had just been thrown away. She immediately met her sister in the living room and saw that Rahila and Salam were visiting. Ria was so shocked when Lena showed her her engagement ring to Salam. Ria didn't see anything positive from Salam at all. She didn't agree if her sister gave up her dream of being a painter just because she was in love with Salam, especially since they only know each other for less than a month, so Ria planned to thwart their marriage with the help of Alba and Clara. First, Ria would use the simplest method, namely negotiating with Lena and her parents, but after chatting with her parents, Ria was considered overacting. Lena also said that after getting married, she and Salam would move to Singapore. Hearing that, Lena increasingly disagreed with the marriage and was disappointed with Lena, who was willing to sacrifice her dream just to marry a rich man. The two of them ended up fighting and Lena kicked Rhea out of her room. With that failure, Rhea decided to make Lena hate Salim by spreading Salim's disgrace. Clara was sure that there was a lot of data on Salim's laptop they could use and she could copy all the data in 20 minutes, so Rhea planned to take his laptop secretly when Salim was in the gym, and the only method was for Rhea to disguise herself as a man so she could enter the changing room and then take Salim's laptop from his locker, while Clara waited in the girls' sauna and Alba looked around the gym. Rhea managed to get the laptop and immediately handed it to Alba, who then gave it to Clara. Clara rushed to copy the data while Rhea pretended to be training while watching Salim, but a problem arose. There was too much data to be copied and it took 30 minutes to complete it. Meanwhile, Salim would soon return to the changing room and, like it or not, Rhea carried out plan B, namely to keep Salim busy by inviting him to chat. Rhea said that she came there to take a Zumba class. She asked why Salim, who had dated many other women, chose Lena as her fiancé. Salim explained that these dates were arranged by his mother and he only wanted to respect her as a parent who had given birth to him and raised him since childhood. He also said that he sincerely loved Lena. According to Salim, Lena was a kind, generous, and intelligent woman unlike other women, and that was the reason he chose her. Meanwhile, in the sauna room, Clara had finished the data copying process, but because Rhea was still keeping Salim busy, Alba had no other choice but to enter the man-changing room to return Salim's laptop to his locker, and right after Alba did it, Rhea immediately left Salim. That evening at home, while training in her room, Rhea was approached by Lena, who was annoyed because Rhea secretly met Salim. Rhea reasoned that she wanted to get to know him more, but Lena knew that she was lying because her sister didn't agree with her relationship with Salim and interfered too much in her life. Lena challenged Rhea to a duel, and to Rhea's surprise, Lena could pin her down. Rhea was only able to remain silent after hearing the reason her sister stopped painting was because she felt she wasn't very skilled in that. That evening, Rhea had another meeting with Clara and Alba. Clara explained that there was no suspicious data from Salim's laptop and there were only files related to his work. Instead, he often helped people for free, such as healing sick babies. However, Rhea still suspected and still wanted to thwart her sister's marriage by slandering Salim. But this time, Alba and Clara didn't agree because they both thought that Salim was a good person and Rhea might just be jealous of Lena. Rhea defended herself because she just wanted her sister to continue her dream of being a painter, and her two friends were asked to leave if they refused to help. In the end, Alba and Clara were irritated with her and left her alone. Even without her friend, Rhea continued carrying out her mission to slander Salim by putting some condoms filled with liquid secretly in his room. Of course, Rhea had to enter Salim's house like a thief. Fortunately, Rhea still remembered where Salim's room was. She immediately put the condoms there while Salim was still watching TV with his mother. Rhea found a box containing photos of Salim's wedding to another woman, but suddenly, she was caught by Rahila and her parents were called to come there. Fatima blamed her and fussed she was crazy because she tried to slander Salim. Rhea then showed the photo that she found, and Salim admitted that it was his ex-wife who had long ago died of a heart attack while giving birth, and he had also told Lena about her. While holding back his sadness, Salim cried and said that as a geneticist, he had tried to prevent things like that from happening again. Hearing that, Rhea could only remain silent in embarrassment and apologized, but Lena was too fed up and said that her sister was busy imagining things. Lena even mentioned Rhea's dream as a joke. Because of the incident that night, Fatima grounded Rhea. This incident made Rhea devastated because her attitude embarrassed her family, especially in front of Salim and Rahila. Lena also hated her even more, and she also had no friends anymore because Alba and Clara decided to avoid her. She also agreed with the bully Kovacs that her dream of being a stunt double was no more than a joke. One day, Lena dreamed that she was in the lab with Salim, and when she woke up, she found her menstrual blood stained on the bedsheet. She apologized, but Salim didn't mind it. That day, Lena and Salim planned to go to order their wedding clothes. During breakfast, Rahila gave a bottle of vitamins to Lena and said that it was iron which Lena needed because she had lost a lot of blood due to her menstrual. Rahila also said that Lena didn't need to feel bad about dirtying the bedsheet and blanket because the more blood that came out meant that Lena's womb was strong and fertile. A few days later, on Fatima's advice, Rhea went alone to Rahila's place to apologize for what she had done while giving a cake. Unexpectedly, Rahila was not angry at all and invited Rhea to come in to undergo skincare with her to lighten up the tense atmosphere. Then after Rhea's finger was finished being manicured, Rahila invited her to waxing. But this is where Rahila's expression began to change. She ordered her employees to wax Rhea roughly and also smeared her with hot honey. Rahila said that she had sacrificed a lot for her son to become a good, handsome, and smart person, and she would attack anyone who dared to thwart Salim's wedding. Couldn't stand the situation there, Rhea fought back and managed to escape out of the room, but she had to fight 3 Rahila employees first. She actually managed to beat them and ran to another room to hide. Rhea was shocked and couldn't believe what she saw when she found the secret laboratory in the house. There were lots of glasses with the contents still remaining inside, and Rhea remembered that the glasses had been used by girls at the previous Eid soiree. Apart from that, there were also lots of very strange baby tubes and surgical tools, and what was even more shocking was the data on the computer, which showed women's fertility data that had been researched from sensors installed at the gate of the house during the Eid soiree, so that every female visitor could have their fertility checked, and it turned out that the most fertile of all the visitors was Lena. Rahila's voice was getting closer, so Rhea broke the window and hastily ran away from there, and when she got home while still panting, Rhea said that everything was going smoothly, and she apologized. Rhea tried to cover the facts that she discovered so as not to further worsen the situation, but she asked to chat privately with Fatima in the room. Rhea told her mother about the lab which, according to her, selected fertile women like Lena would be fertilized for some eerie plan. Rhea insisted on canceling Lena's marriage with Salim, but it was certain that Fatima increasingly thought that her daughter was imagining things. For her, Raya's story was like sci-fi's story. Raya said that she was fine and everything she saw was fact, not imagination, but Fatima ignored her and instead told her to prepare herself for Lena's wedding. The next day at school, Rhea apologized to Alba and Clara. At first they refused to forgive her, but when Rhea explained about the strange laboratory in Rahila's house, they were immediately curious and finally agreed to help her. After that, the 3 started planning to kidnap Lena during the wedding. The first was to divert the attention of the visitors. Rhea was going to perform dancing, which luckily was agreed to by Fatima. Second, they had prepared chloroform to anesthetize Lena for 6 minutes, so that Alba and Clara could smuggle her out of the only building. The thing that was lacking was transportation, and in the end they were forced to ask for help from Kovacs, who had a car given to him by his father. Kovacs obviously refused, but because Rhea promised to help her in her history course, Kovacs finally accepted to help. On the wedding day, Rhea was sent ready for the plan. Alba and Clara disguised themselves as catering staff and were escorted there by Kovacs. Rhea briefly met Rahila, who reminded her that she would continue to pay attention to her movements at the event. Then Rhea went to Lena's room, which was guarded by an armed security guard. After several days of not talking, they finally made up. Rhea apologized for everything she did, while Lena understood that Rhea cared about her. Lena also supported Rhea's dream to be a stunt double. However, when Rhea was about to explain her mission in the strange laboratory there, unfortunately, Rahila and Fatima went into the room to check on Lena. Meanwhile, Alba and Clara were lucky because their disguise was not suspected and were immediately ordered to work by the manager. The 3 of them continued to communicate via earpiece, and Rhea reported that an armed security guard was guarding Lena's room. After that, Rhea's opportunity came to perform in front of the visitors. Because Rhea shouldn't have performed yet, Rahila felt suspicious. Meanwhile, Alba and Clara managed to enter Lena's room by saying that they were told by Rahila to give tea to Lena. They could enter easily, and there was only Lena there alone because Rahila and Fatima were watching Rhea, but Lena recognized Alba and Clara's faces, and they immediately smothered them with chloroform to make her faint. They immediately took Lena out by the food trolley. Unfortunately, the elevator down took a very long time to arrive, while Rahila and Fatima were already on their way to Lena's room. Rahila was furious because Lena wasn't in her room and told the security guard and Fatima to look for her. Meanwhile, Rahila forced Rhea to tell where Lena was, but Rhea answered that her sister might be out smoking for a while. Obviously, Rahila didn't believe her, and finally, a fight between Rhea and Rahila broke out. Rhea was cornered and immediately asked her friends to immediately take Lena away from the house. Rahila, who knew that Rhea was being helped by someone else, using the earpiece, threatened Alba and Clara to kill Rhea if Lena was not immediately returned to her room. Rhea was tied up by Rahila, and she explained that her real plan was to clone herself and implanted her clone in Lena's womb, because Lena had a strong womb that was suitable to be a vessel for the clone. The aim was so that Salim could get a wife who was exactly like her, because for Rahila, no woman was more suitable to take care of her son than she. Apart from that, Rahila would be able to continue reincarnating. Not long afterward, Salim came, and it was seen that he was so spoiled by Rahila. After that, Alba and Clara came and took Lena. Raya continued to rebel until her chair fell, but in the end, Rahila and Salim went with Lena and locked the door to the room from outside. Alba and Clara were shocked when they heard Rhea's explanation that Lena would only be used as a cloning vessel for Rahila, and that meant Lena would disappear after getting married. Because the door was locked and there was no way out, Alba and Clara kept banging on the door until suddenly they heard the security guard outside being hit by someone who turned out to be Kovacs, who came to help. Rhea then took the gun that belonged to the security guard and immediately went to the wedding venue because Lena was going to get married. Rhea gave a warning shot in front of everyone, then held Rahila at gunpoint. While holding back her tears, Rhea revealed all the facts that there was a secret lab there and Salam would implant Lena with his own mother's clone. Rahila and Salam pretended to laugh and thought that it was no more than a wild imagination, followed by other attendees who laughed at Rhea too. But Rhea gave another warning shot so that they all fell silent. Meanwhile, when Lena heard her sister's words about the secret laboratory, she suddenly remembered that Rahila and Salam had done tests on her, which she thought was just a dream because of the effects of the anesthetic. Lena was shocked because her dream about the laboratory at that time was a reality and began to question her future husband. Salam tried to explain that the test was only aimed at ensuring Lena's health until finally he accidentally mentioned that he wanted Lena because her womb was 1.8 times stronger than all the women he had ever known. Apart from that, Salam's ex-wife died during childbirth, apparently because her womb was not strong enough to contain her mother's clone. The situation became more tense because Rahila took the gun from Rhea and forced Lena to immediately sign the marriage agreement, but Fatima hit Rahila with a chair from behind and told her 2 children to immediately run away from there. Rahila ordered her lackeys to arrest Lena. This time Lena, Fatima, Rafe, and Reyes, 3 friends, Alba, Clara, and Kovacs, helped fight the enemies. Even though their skills were above average, there were too many enemies, so Rhea and the gang had to run away from there. Alba, Clara, and Kovacs held the door and told Rhea and Lena to run away from the house using the car, but they found Rahila. Rahila left Rhea, who she thought was dead, but it turned out that Rhea was still alive. Rhea immediately attacked Rahila with her ultimate move, and she collapsed in that single attack. Rhea managed to save Lena and forward her marriage to Salam. Rhea apologized for ruining her sister's marriage, but Lena was actually grateful because her sister had saved her life. So that Lena could continue her dream, Rhea said that she planned to take Lena to Alba's parents' place in a small town far from the hustle and bustle. She had also prepared a complete painting equipment. Lena didn't answer immediately because she needed time to think about it first. They then went to a restaurant and got something to eat. Because Rhea had succeeded in pulling her ultimate move, Lena asked her to do it again so it could be recorded for her YouTube channel, but suddenly, Rhea got an email reply from her idol, Eunice. How happy Rhea was because she finally got a reply from Eunice, who invited her to come to her studio for lunch. Apart from that, Eunice also praised Rhea's skills from her YouTube videos. Lena then recorded Rhea pulling her ultimate move to post it on YouTube.